Hello, I'm Paul Evans, a professor of international relations at the University of British Columbia and CEO emeritus of the Asia Pacific Foundation. The social media in China is an incredibly diverse, big enterprise, with much of it being similar in some of the technology and some of the organization to things we're familiar with in Canada, from Twitter through to Facebook. But they're not identical. Chinese processes are both subject to more and a different kind of censorship, and they're also more common and more popular. In China, we have almost 600 million people that are using social media in some kind of way. The question that most of us are curious about is, how is this controlled from a political perspective? Well, we know that no usage of social media is free entirely of censorship or coverage in any country. In China, there's a political dimension to this that's important. It's not the most important dimension of social media in China. 99.9% of what goes on in social media in China is not censored. It is perhaps looked at, but it's the self-censorship that 1% that is looked at causes. So people are careful what they do, imaginative in China, how they get around some of those regulations, and that watching. And from the perspective of is where China going to be consistent, keep on the same path, or are they going in a new direction? I think that what is fundamental in China is that they basically would like to see the internet as intranet, trying to put restrictions on what kinds of things come in from the outside and what kind of things go from China to the outside, to the outer world, to the Western world. And the main Chinese concern is what goes on within China. The government is concerned about instability. The government is concerned about social protest. That's where the main focus is. But they'd like that wall out there to control information in two directions. And the big governance question for all countries is whether that Chinese model, which is increasingly popular, the Russians, many countries in the world kind of appreciate that Chinese model of towards an intranet, seeing all of these matters as ultimately matters of state sovereignty as well as individual rights. There's the battle line, there's the conflict point between that view and the view that in some countries, including Canada, of more openness.